All right, let's get into it. We're talking about female entrepreneurship today. And look, it's a world of incredible opportunity, for sure, but it also comes with this unique set of challenges that can push anyone, even the most driven founders, right to the edge. So this is all about how you navigate that whole journey, not just to survive it, but to actually thrive. This quote, this really nails it, doesn't it? It gets right to the heart of a hidden crisis. The very thing that makes you successful, that incredible drive, can also be the thing that leads straight to burnout. So, the big question is, how do you build an amazing business without totally sacrificing yourself in the process? That's what we're going to unpack.
So first things first, let's really get a handle on the landscape. We're going to look at some of the specific pressures and, those no-win situations that can make being a founder so tough.
Okay, so this brings us to what's known as the double bind, and it is a constant, exhausting balancing act. If you're assertive, you run the risk of being called aggressive. But if you're too collaborative, well then you might be seen as weak or indecisive. Just think about the sheer mental energy you burn just trying to navigate that paradox. It's draining before you've even started the real work.
And you know what that pressure often leads to? You guessed it, the perfectionism trap. For so many high-achieving women, being a perfectionist is what got them here. It worked in school, it worked in the corporate world. But in the messy, fast-paced, iterative world of a startup, it can become a huge problem.
So what does this actually look like? Well, you might recognize some of these warning signs. It's that little voice that says, "No one can do it as well as I can," which makes it impossible to delegate anything. Or maybe it's avoiding a great opportunity because you're afraid you can't execute it perfectly. Or my personal favorite, just working longer and longer hours instead of working smarter. Just recognizing these patterns, that's a huge first step.
Okay, enough about the problems. We've defined them, we see them. Now let's talk solutions. And we're going to start from the inside out by really mastering your inner game and building that mental toolkit you need for resilience.
A really powerful tool for this is something called the Breathe framework. It gives you a structured way to think about and handle stress. It starts with just understanding your own baseline, what's normal for you, and goes all the way up to having emergency plans for when things get really tough. The whole point is to shift from just reacting to stress to being proactive about your own mental well-being.
Now, within that whole toolkit, there is one technique that is especially powerful for managing stress right in the moment. It's called cognitive reframing, and it's all about consciously, deliberately, shifting your perspective on a thought that's causing you stress.
Let me show you how powerful this is. So instead of thinking, this failure proves I'm not good enough, you reframe it to, okay, this outcome gives me really valuable data. See that switch? It goes from being a judgment about you personally to just being an objective piece of information. It literally transforms a setback from being about your worth into being about your strategy. And that is an absolute game changer.
So now that we've worked on the inner game, let's build out the outer game. This section is all about creating resilient systems. Think of them as guardrails that protect your most precious resources, your time and your energy.
And the first thing we have to talk about is boundaries. So many of us, especially women, are taught that setting boundaries is selfish. We have to completely reframe that. The truth is, boundaries are a service. They're the systems that allow you to show up as the best, most effective version of yourself for your team, for your clients, for everyone.
So how do we do it? The CLEAR method is a fantastic roadmap for this. It's a whole process that takes you from communicating your boundaries super clearly all the way to making sure you actually respect them yourself. And that L, linking them to your values, that's key. It makes them so much easier to stick to. And here is what this can sound like in the real world. This script is pure gold. You can literally copy and paste this. See what it does? It validates the client's feelings. I understand this feels urgent. Then it professionally states your boundary. My response time is X hours. And then it connects that boundary right back to the quality of service they get. It's firm, it's respectful, and it's all about value.
So setting boundaries with other people is one thing, but what about letting go of control inside your own company? Yeah. This brings us to the control paradox. The reality is, to grow, to scale, you have to let go. You have to delegate. And that can feel almost impossible, especially when you've built every single piece of this thing from the ground up.
But here's the good news. Delegation isn't an all-or-nothing thing. You can make it way more manageable by thinking about it in levels. You start at level 1, giving someone super specific instructions for a pretty low-risk task. Then, as you build trust, you gradually give them more authority, moving up the ladder toward level 4, which is full ownership. Think of it like you're slowly building your delegation muscle.
Okay, we've talked about managing stress, we've talked about building systems. Let's pull this all together now by asking a much bigger question. What does success actually mean to you? This final part is all about creating a richer, more holistic, and honestly, a more sustainable definition of what it means to win. So instead of just tracking revenue and growth, check out the IMPACT framework. Imagine having a personal success dashboard that also measures things like your mental health, your own personal growth, how much freedom you have, and the quality of your relationships. It's really about defining success on your own terms, in a way that actually fuels you for the long run.
Because when you get right down to it, all of these tools, all of these frameworks, they all point to one central, powerful idea. Building a business is a journey of personal transformation. The real goal isn't just a profitable company. It's a fulfilling life where the person you become along the way is just as important as the bottom line you build.
So I'll just leave you with this final thought to chew on. What if we shifted the entire focus away from just the external achievements and onto our internal growth and well-being? Just thinking about that question can fundamentally change how you approach your business, your life, and your very own definition of success.